Chris, put some perspective into this conversation for us. How important is tonight to Steph's legacy?
I don't think we should overstate it because it's game 3.
Mm-hmm.
If he's pretty good tonight, but then great the rest of the series, or if he's just not that good and they lose, but he's great the rest of the series and they win, I don't think we'll think about game 3. If he's great tonight and then mediocre the rest of the way and they lose or win, what he did tonight isn't going to have a huge impact. So, look, if he's horrible tonight and then they go on to maybe lose the next few games and lose the series, then I think people may look at him a little differently. But it's only game 3. There's so much basketball left to be played that I think we have to take that into consideration. This is an opportunity for him to add to the Steph lore, where the 40-point game in 2016, when he's right back from the knee injury against Portland.
Yep.
You know, the 36-point average against Portland in the last series, the 33-point second half against Houston. Like, this is an opportunity to have one of those nights that we remember when we're talking about Steph Curry in the future. However, I got to admit, like, I remember his second MVP season, when he was unanimous MVP and was just lighting the world on fire. I asked a basketball legend, a basketball lifer who was a player, a coach. He's been everything. Everybody would know him. I don't want to say his name. I said, is Steph the best player in the world? He laughed at me because he was like, no, he's like, you hide him on defense. He can't control it on that side of the floor. And so my point is, I'm not looking at Steph to do what a LeBron James can do, even what a Kawhi Leonard or a Kevin Durant could do. Like, if Kevin Durant was in this situation where no Steph, no Clay, I still would feel like he might go, you know what I mean? Like, they got a chance, right? Or if it was LeBron or Kawhi. Because essentially, even without Clay and KD, you're talking about one superstar, Steph, against one superstar, Kawhi, and a bunch of good players around them, role players. And this shows why those guys probably are better than Steph. No matter what he does and his legacy and how great of a shooter he is and how many championships, he can't control it on the other side of the court. And I think some of it's size. Like, how many small players have ever been able to just control a series? Isaiah Thomas, obviously, the legend, was tremendous. He and Steph are the only two small guys to even lead a team to a championship.
Right.
But even when Isaiah was doing it, Dumars was great in those finals. Dumars he was Isaiah's Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
And he was
a finals MVP.
Right, he was a finals MVP the first year they won it. So he was always great there. Allen Iverson, we saw him do it for a game against Shaq and Kobe when they won game 1, but never won a title, obviously. So I don't know if some of it's size, the defensive liabilities, but I just don't expect him to be able to take over the game like I would expect a KD, a LeBron, or a Kawhi Leonard to do.
You stole all my points because this is my exact same
Good, then
thing.
I'll talk.
Oh, you know what? It's good. For real, though. No, I mean, just to echo what he said, because I don't think it's that big of a deal because it's game 3. And there's more series to play, and he can play bad, and they can still recover. But if he plays like a goofball, and then they turn around and lose this
There
series,
you go with that goofball again.
we're gonna remember this game. But the only thing I want to push back on, this notion that Steph Curry has been small in the playoffs or the finals is not true.
It is true.
I want to track. No, I tracked it. So what I did, I didn't want to go back to when he first got into the league. They didn't make the playoffs and all that. I went back to when he first made the playoffs, the 2012-2013 season.
Yep.
In the regular season, this is what he's averaged: 25.6, 7 assists. In the NBA Finals, he's averaged 25.6. and 6 assists. He dropped off a cliff. Go ahead, Skip.
And you said he's got a higher scoring average in the finals than what? Bird, Kareem,
Kobe, and D-Wade.
Every key number I have on my list in his career, regular versus post, the playoffs are a little down in every category. So he hasn't played like a 2-time MVP in the playoffs. And maybe that's because playoffs dictate
in the finals or the playoffs?
Playoffs.
The whole playoffs?
Yep. And I still can't get over the games 5, 6, and 7 against your man in 2016. That was horrendously bad. And again, in those 3 games, he shot 37% from the field and 36% from 3. He's like a 50% three-point shooter, and that was a dramatic fall. And then we get all the way to Game 7, and he shot 6 for 19 in his house. This is it. This is for your legacy. And he was 4 of 14 from 3, and we get to the fourth quarter with the game on the line. And he goes 1 of 6 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3, and has the crucial turnover where he whips it behind his back, fourth row. That really opened the floodgates for your guys to have the bicycle built for 2 block and the chase down, right?
Yeah, they were
Yeah. And finally,
that was Player of the Year, if I'm
Kyrie
not mistaken.
ended that. Yeah, Kyrie ended that game. So tonight, to me, is the biggest game of Steph Curry's career because Klay Thompson is either not going to play at all, to your point, first time ever that he would be without Klay, or Klay is going to be somewhat limited. He's just going to be limited, especially on defense, maybe even on offense. This is his night to rise and shine. This is his series to take over because we will see some box and one. So you have to say, I got this. I'm going to destroy the box and one because they won Game 2 in spite of Steph Curry. That was a pretty miserable performance by his standards.
He wasn't very good.
He wasn't very good. And then again, I'm going to say it one more time. If you play 8 minutes down the stretch, you go 0 for 0 from the field, 0 for 0 from the line, and from the 5:37 mark down to 7 seconds, you go 8 straight possessions without scoring a point. Your team does, and you're the point guard, and you have 0 assists in the whole fourth quarter. He's getting a pass that nobody has leaped on that, and the reason he's getting a pass is because they survived without him, right? They survived because Andre Iguodala, a 33% three-point shooter, said, I got this. Because when the money's on the table, that guy's going to do it. When the money was on the table, what was the first finals?
2015 when they won. 2015.
Yeah. And again, you and I have gone back and forth. He turned the whole series around on defense and on offense. And you say, well, Steph's numbers say he should have been the MVP, but in impact, Iggy should have been MVP. Just in defense, offense, impact. It was LeBron's series to win. Remember, Game 4 is in LeBron's house. They're up 2-1. I thought he was going to do it. I thought he was going to put his team on his back with no Kevin Love and no Kyrie and just take them home because he was on. That was the best I've ever seen LeBron play for 3 games. Did he run out of gas? I don't know what happened, but he shot 7 of 22 when they put Iggy on him, and they'd done it a little bit at the end of Game 3, but Game 4, Iggy took him out of that game. So he deserved to be MVP. So Steph doesn't even have one MVP to his credit. And tonight he has an opportunity with no Kevin Durant. And this is just me. Heart of hearts, gut feeling. I believe Steph Curry does not want Kevin Durant to return because he can finally make a statement once and for all. I can do it without that guy.
But let me ask you this, Skip. Let's just say for the sake of argument, he dropped 45 in Game 3 and they lose. What does that change in people's minds?
Okay, but you would think if he drops 45, they're going to win that game. That's what I would think.
It still would be tough,
yes.
even if he has 45. If nobody else steps up, I'm picking
Golden State
because I'm thinking Draymond and
if I could
Cousins will
guarantee
play well
Steph's
too.
going to have 45, you'd say, I got this by 15.
I wouldn't say that.
No.
If he has 45 and Draymond and Boogie don't play well or Quinn Cook can't hit a 3, they could still lose.
Hey, the impact of his 45 points, that's the one thing I disagree with whoever the Hall of Famer was that you talked. His three-point impact is so severe, especially at home, where he's revolutionized the game and the impact of that shot because he shoots them from 10 feet beyond the line.
Right. And now you got more guys
That's what I'm
copying
saying. But at Oracle, it feels like the ceiling falls in on the visiting team when he makes 4 of those 30-foot shots.
I do agree his impact on the game for his team and just the league and the game itself has been incredible. But for some reason, I feel like he needs other guys. He needs some help, though. Like, again, I don't like what LeBron did in 2015, just taking over with Matthew Dellavedova and all these.
Okay.
I don't see Steph being able to do that. Even though he has arguably more impact on the game than LeBron when his team is around him.
Hey, when
Because
he's
of
going,
right.
he has huge impact.
But we've
It's
never seen
psychological.
that without Klay and Draymond.
We have not.
Now, maybe he'll show something tonight that I haven't seen.
And by the way, you do have to, quote-unquote, hide him on defense, but that year he won the unanimous MVP, he led the league in steals. So you got to give him that,
He
right?
gets steals, and he's a smart and willing defender.
he
he tries, right.
Okay.
But I just don't. And I think a lot of people, like you're saying, Skip, if they win this championship and he doesn't get the Finals MVP. A lot of people will hold that against him. So I think he needs it for the naysayers, but I do think Finals MVPs are overrated. I mean, Kareem only won 2 out of his 6 championships.
Okay, but this is it. This is his opportunity to shine.
Yeah, with no KD, he has to win it.
He just played the greatest stretch of his career, Steph did, in the last quarter and the last game against Houston, Game 6, and then those 4 against Portland. Yeah. I've never seen him play better at a higher level than in those sort of 5 1/4 games.
And he was good in Game 1, even though they lost in the finals.
Got it. Now, this is it. They're a little shorthanded, if not a lot shorthanded. And if they win the game tonight, they could break Toronto's will because Toronto hasn't done this before, even though they got playoff experience. But if Steph just shoots them right in the heart tonight, then all of a sudden you can say, put Kevin on the back burner, right? We don't really need Kevin in Game 4. Well, if Steph takes over Games 3 and 4, well, he's on course to run away with Finals MVP. He's the favorite now, right?
Yeah.
So this is his moment. Rise or fall, sink or swim.
But Draymond and Boogie lurking, though.
Okay.
No, like, look, if I had to pick Golden State's MVP right now, I would give it slightly to Steph because of Game 1, he was really good, even though they lost. But Draymond would be right there.
Okay, so tell me this.
Would be
if Steph Curry tonight does exactly what he did in Game 2, 6 of 17 and 3 of 10 from 3, who wins the game?
Toronto.
Okay. Thank you.
Agree.
So that's how big a deal this is for Steph Curry.
He needs to be big.
This is his night.
It's just more
and
games
again,
to be played.
We heard that.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.